Hi, Taapsee. Good afternoon.
Hi, hi Narita. Good
Thank you
afternoon.
so much for connecting with me. I'm Narita from India today. So welcome to India today.
Thank you.
Firstly, I would like to congratulate you for Rashmi Rocket. I mean, it's such a wonderful film, and honestly, very rarely do we get to watch the film before we interview the celebs. It's always the other way around. But this was,
Yeah.
I felt the right way to do it so that we have more things to talk about the film without giving out spoilers, of course.
Hmm. Yeah.
Congratulations, it's a wonderful film, and I really hope
Thank
that it
you.
makes the right kind of noise that it intends to.
I hope
So,
so too. I've made it for that reason.
yes, exactly. So, speaking of that, I would like to start with one of the comments, one of the social media troll jibes that kind of went quite viral, where you responded to a troll who called you out, who spoke about your murthy body. And your response
Hmm.
was, read that again when the trailer drops, like when you watch the trailer.
Hmm. Hmm.
I mean, isn't exactly, I mean, is Rashmi Rocket trying to fight that mindset exactly? Wasn't it just like the whole thing in crisp 3 words?
Yeah. If you put it out in a very example-ish way,
Yeah,
then yes. Yeah, this is probably that where we want to target the mindset that feels that it has the power to tell you you are a
yeah,
woman or no,
yeah,
or power to give you your identity
yeah.
versus what you feel you are. So
Hmm,
that is the mindset that was targeted in the film. The larger
hmm.
idea, or the main idea, core idea of this film was the identity issue. Where
Right,
it feels like someone else has the authority to tell you that you are a
who
woman
you
or
are.
woman enough or no.
Right,
So that is
right.
what was targeted in the film, and
Hmm,
unknowingly that role gave me the heart of my film on a platter and
correct,
validated my attempt to do the film at first place by
right,
saying that, and it just helped me push the idea more organically rather than me forcing
correct,
the concept of my film.
correct. So now coming to the film, now that we watched the trailer and then the film, of course. So you are portraying the role of an athlete. It's not just a level of fitness, just not just any level of fitness required. It's something else. So to
Mm,
look the part, obviously you've gone through rigorous training. I would like to know
mm.
what kind of training, like how many months or how many hours a day did you put in? Were you also shooting for other films simultaneously? And how did that sort of overlap?
So yeah, I was, and I wish I, got that time where I could only solely dedicate to this film, which is little impractical or little impossible with female actors, considering that there's only so much. We're not paid as much, or we don't have that kind of a career span, to actually dedicate an entire year without doing anything else to a film, which I would have loved to in ideal case
Right,
scenario. This film deserved that.
right.
So
Which a
I
lot of
didn't have an
male
option.
actors get the opportunity. Sorry.
Yes, that's true, they do. They are paid that much, and they have that longevity in the industry to do that. We are not paid as much, nor we have that much of longevity. So didn't have that privilege. So made sure that I made the most out of every minute of my 24 hours. I didn't have a
Right,
third option.
right,
So we were shooting for Haseen Dilruba is when I started
right.
training. In Jan 2020 I
Mhm.
began training, new year, and I trained till mid of March every day, waking up every day morning at 5 a.m. in Uttarakhand, which used to be like
Mm.
6-7 degrees Celsius every day
Right.
morning, with that crazy cold of the
Yeah.
north. And there I used to wake up at 5 in the morning before sunrise, report on track or in the gym, 6 days a week, alternate days on track, alternate days in the gym. Start training at 6, go on till 8, and then come back. And I only had a rationed 1 hour to
Hmm.
come back, take shower, get ready for Haseen Dilruba, and report on set of Haseen Dilruba at 9 o'clock. So my every minute was rationed. I could only spend 15 minutes inside the bathroom to do whatever I wanted in the bathroom, but I couldn't go beyond 15 minutes. So to do that, and then report on set at 9 a.m. to shoot for Haseen Dilruba, shoot for 12 hours because that's
Yeah,
a shift we work on,
correct.
12 hours, 9 to 9. 9 p.m. was pack up, and then I used to come back to my room, and I only had that 1 hour between 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. to change, do whatever, but I should be sleeping by 10 p.m. because
Yeah,
otherwise I will not be able to wake up at 5 a.m. to do the same drill the next day. And the only recovery or the best recovery a body can have with this kind of schedule is sleep. So that was a no compromise. The days I could not sleep well, it was a nightmare to push myself every minute
I
after
can
that.
imagine.
So that was a must in my routine that I had to sleep during those hours. So this was for 2.5 months that I did, and a couple of weeks more, I would have been ready to shoot for Rashmi Rocket.
Um,
But world had some other plans, so the lockdown
yes,
happened, and for 5 months, I was stranded in my house where there was no provision for me to maintain that kind of body that I had,
right.
because it was at a level where I needed some hardcore equipment
Hmm.
to keep up that kind of muscle. Uh, Unfortunately or fortunately, I don't have those testosterone levels in my body for real for me to retain that
Sustain
muscle
that. Yeah.
for a
Hmm.
longer time. Yeah, so the moment the lockdown happened, within those 5 months, obviously those muscles went away, and I had to again start from scratch. Thankfully, because I was very clear from day one, I am not going to compromise with the natural and organic element of getting that body. I'm not going to take any banned substance. I'm not going to take any
Right.
steroid
Steroids.
injections,
Correct.
because yeah, I didn't want to do that, because yeah, it would have given me result faster. A lot of
Hmm.
people in the industry do that when they need to prep
Hmm.
for a film, because we have limited time to look like a certain way. But I did not want to do that voluntarily, because I have life beyond films, and I
Right.
want to I have to live with this body for the rest of my life. Didn't want to tamper with it for one film and then end up regretting it later.
Yeah.
So I was very clear to my nutritionist, my trainer, that I'll push myself max, but we'll not go the shortcut way. Zyada se zyada, what will happen? Maybe I'll not have the volume of the muscle that I should ideally have, but that's okay. I don't want to tamper with my body to do
Yeah.
that. So that we were all on the same page, everyone,
Hmm.
with that. And that's because of that clean, natural way of building the muscle. My
Hmm.
muscle memory became very good,
Okay.
and the body metabolism, to just the functioning of the body became really good in those 3 months.
Hmm.
And so resume training after 5 months of lockdown, the body bounced back very quick to where I left
Okay.
it. So it didn't take me as long as ideally it would have taken for me
Yeah.
if I would have started from scratch. It happened it happened quicker. So it took
Right.
me another 3 months after the lockdown got over,
Over.
before I recorded those races.
Hmm.
So yeah, so then eventually by December is when we recorded races. Otherwise, we started shooting for the film by November. So I was
Okay.
pretty much in a shootable
State.
physique
Physique.
from
Right.
November. Yeah, from November onwards. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So obviously the physical part you just explained elaborately was extremely challenging. But what was more challenging? Was it to portray the psyche of this character, or the physicality of it? Like a woman who's struggling, almost struggling with her own identity. कि मैं औरत भी हूँ या नहीं. So what was
See,
more challenging for you?
different time when I was prepping up for the film before
Hmm.
November, when the shooting started, the physicality of it was taking a toll on me.
Right.
Because I had to push myself out of bed every day, have extra working hours while I was shooting for other films. So physicality was draining at that time. But
Hmm.
when I started shooting, I honestly, the whole mental state of it kind of took over. Because when I used to walk on set, every time my body language had to be the not so expected feminine body
Correct.
language.
Yeah.
I had to just make sure that it just stands out in between all the other females around. So
Right.
even the way she reacts should not be the expected feminine way of reacting,
Hmm.
the conditioned feminine way of reacting. So that, and then being looked upon like, okay, bhai, this is that double take of everyone of, this looks off, was a little satisfying in a way, because I was working towards it, but a little off. I'm not used to having that kind of a double take as to, this looks not normal, or not like their expectation of a female. And then, doing all those scenes where ladki nahi hai, ladka hai,
Hmm.
and it used to be very uneasy. It just gave me a deja vu whenever I was referred to as a boy or a man on set during the filming. It just hit me and gave me a deja vu of the time I was growing up and I was referred to as a tomboy.
Right.
And it was very weird for me at that time also, because I used to play with boys, unlike the other
Yeah.
girls of my age who used to, play more indoor sports at that time. So
Hmm.
it gave me a deja vu of that, and it was not a very nice feeling. But yeah, I mean, I had to, like that, I put it all in the court sequences where I didn't have a word to say, but I had to just, react to all those kind of allegations put on me. And then the final
With your
sequence at the
expressions.
climax, yeah, and then the climax where I had to just finally have a sigh of relief after that entire battle, and then, just like present my side of what's going in my head at that point. I just gave it all in that scene to just vent that out, that okay,
Right.
this is out of my system now. So
And
I channelized it like that.
and it shows, and how, in the
Thank you.
scenes.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
you did touch upon a little bit about your growing up years and how you were called a tomboy and stuff. I also wanted to address this part of this aspect of bullying that was shown in the film. Like almost like
Hmm.
when they're in the academy and training, when this gender
Hmm.
testing thing didn't even come up, there was like
Hmm.
systematic bullying that was going on. And there is even a
Hmm.
dialogue in the court where it said
Hmm.
कि bullying तो चलता है, मारपीट नहीं चलती.
Hmm. Hmm.
So would you like to talk about this, this mindset where we normalize bullying, not taking into consideration that there was provocation, which is why there was, the
Hmm.
follow up of the marpeat.
Yeah. There is, you talk about any institution, not just this in particular, where bullying is considered a kind of an icebreaker for people who bully. They
Right.
think that, oh, even then this also, मतलब मैं तो friendly हो रही थी. So in
मजाक
the
कर रहे
film
थे,
also there's a
correct.
dialogue, हाँ मैं तो friendly हो रही थी, तो
Absolutely.
when my character says ऐसे friendly होने पे मेरे गांव की लड़कियां मुंह तोड़ देती हैं.
मुंह तोड़ देते हैं, correct.
So so it's like it's just for some reason considered, that kind of bullying is being considered as an icebreaker for the people who bully, because they
Right.
think it's like, it's about, that to establish that comfort zone, that now you are a part of my comfort zone, and that's my, by ways of bullying you, I can make you a part of my comfort zone. That happens like that. We become territorial there.
Right.
ये मेरा area है, तो मैं यहाँ की bully हूँ.
Hmm.
So that happens in every institution, even educational institutions.
Right, of
And
course. Anything.
rarely the person who does it actually thinks that what if this same was done on that person,
Hmm.
or in some cases that person has gone through it and feels like this is the right way of doing it because मेरे साथ हुआ था, so I'll also do
It's
that
almost like a
with
rite
someone
of
else.
passage.
Yeah. So that is also something that is that affects mental health.
Right.
And like all five fingers are not same, every person cannot react the same. Just because you survived it doesn't mean the other person can also survive it, and that person will be able to get over it the way you got
Right.
over it. So it's only fair that, that's a part of that whole mental health education that we need to really have to understand that it's not always about physically hitting someone and that being
Someone.
wrong. So mental health is also equally important, because that
Correct.
can also push you to doing things that are not right, or affect you in not the right way.
Hmm. Did you face any
Which,
bullying growing up? Sorry, I'm sorry to cut you. Like in
no,
school or
I'm
in
just saying that
college,
yeah,
or
you go
even at
through
work, when you were starting off, maybe.
See, bullying at work for people like actors, like you, especially,
Mm-hmm.
at least for me, from where the kind of people I have worked with, my bullying really, there's no bullying that happened with me on set.
Right.
Whatever bullying or name calling has happened with me has happened on public domain, which is very much out
Social
there for
media.
people to see.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yes. Mm.
which is there for people to see, but it never happened to me at my workplace.
Mm.
Thankfully, I was very lucky that way, that I ended up working with people who were very respectful and did not
Right.
resort to any kind of bullying. Well, during school and college, I don't think in school really it happened. Maybe in college, in your first year, when you have this, the seniors want to do their share of ragging, but because
Ah.
ragging was banned in college, so they were like, I didn't really have those stressful ragging sessions
Right.
which affected me, or where I felt like targeted or bullied. Thankfully, by the time I reached college, that whole ragging thing was taken very seriously,
Mm.
and they were not allowed to do any such thing.
Right. Now, getting onto the most significant part of the film, of course, the gender testing part. You've said in interviews that you didn't really know what it is about, and you had to Google and find
Hmm.
out, what
Hmm.
it means. But then, through your
Hmm.
research, what was the most striking thing about you, about the gender testing that you found out, that you basically internalized to portray that role? There has to be that anger.
Two things. Yeah, that two things that I found out that really bothered me. First is that it only happens with females. It
Yes.
doesn't happen with men.
Right.
uh, the fact that there is a limitation of testosterone levels for women, that you
Correct.
can't, beyond this you shouldn't have, but there is no such limitation being tested for men. There are
Hmm.
men with lower testosterone levels than what they
Right.
should probably have.
Right.
So but there is no ban on that.
Right.
So that was one shocker. The other thing was the kind of remedy, or the kind of what is being suggested to those athletes who are banned because of
Right.
gender test, to rectify it. They are like, either you take steroid injections to lower your testosterone levels,
Wow.
or you go through surgery to change your genetics, so
Hmm.
you have lesser testosterone levels, or go run in the men's race.
If you take
So these are
injections,
the
won't
kind
it
of,
be banned for taking injections then? Like steroid
so
leke
you have
daud
to
rahi hai,
take
that's
those
also
in
banned.
no, so no, you have taken those kind of steroids that are going to lower your testosterone levels. So basically tamper with your system,
Yeah. And
so that you qualify to be called woman enough to run in women race. So that was very, very shocking. Like, otherwise you have to go run with men. So it's very uneasy. Like, I can't even put myself actually, like, right now, to think of it, which I tried to do back then. Which
right.
in my case, what happened was, when we were shooting, Rashmi gets to know about this whole gender test after it has already happened.
Happened.
Because
Correct.
before that, even she also was very oblivious of what was happening.
Yeah.
So by the time she processed it, a lot of other things had happened with her, putting in the jail, and all that
Yes.
drama that happened around, whatever happened after the gender test had taken over, and she had given up and not wanting to fight the battle, which a lot of athletes in real do. They give up, they don't want to fight that battle, it's too embarrassing for them
Correct.
to do that. So
Only a
that
few,
had
I think,
happened
who
there.
can actually wonder what. Yeah.
Very few, yes, yeah, very few end up trying to commit suicide. Some commit suicide. That has happened widely,
Yeah.
because most of them come from these really small places where the interpretation of failing a gender test is questioning your womanhood, and not like a certain abnormality in your hormones. It's interpreted in a harsher way.
Yeah. And the
So
ostracism
so
that comes
hence,
with it.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that all
She
that is
stunted
what
out. Correct.
yeah, that is what also was questioned in the film, that how can you just leave them because
Right.
of that? You need to train them psychologically, that how to deal with it. You can't just ban them and like throw them aside and let them be.
Right.
You need to like make them understand what this is. And the same set of people who brag about their athletes victory, or they, oh, hamare ko ye medal mila, and because of this athlete, the same people need to embrace this thing also, because it's not like they are like it's not a doping case. It's
Right.
not like you intentionally been taking certain hormones, or
To
the
boost
doping
it.
controversy. It's something you're born with. And
Correct.
this is what, in the film, this angle also has been brought up, where it's different from your doping controversies. It's not really
Right.
comparison to that. So yeah, all this I channelized when I was sitting for those court sequences, with that,
Right.
what really goes through when you've been told that you're not a woman enough. So yeah.
Right. Okay, like I already received a message saying wrap it up quickly. So I mean, here I'd like to ask one question and maybe squeeze in another one if there is time. Theaters are opening up. There's nothing against Z5 here, but why did you choose to release this film? You or the producers choose to release this film on an OTT? Was it something that you decided earlier, or
This
did
was
you have
decided
waited?
earlier.
Okay,
No, we had decided earlier, before the theaters had opened, that because you can't just decide last moment and kal trailer release kar do. It's like a very, like, it's a process that happens, and it was decided earlier. And also, I have I have non-stop releases coming up. I've been
right,
working non-stop since last year.
correct.
Any delay, any further delay in any of my films would have ended up in my film eating into time of my film,
Your
which
film,
I
correct.
feel is a bigger disaster than,
Hmm.
thinking, okay, मेरी picture बड़े पर्दे पे release नहीं हो रही, and it's going to
Hmm.
have that small screen. At least it's reaching the audience,
Right,
in
right.
whichever way. And after Haseen's release, not for a
Hmm.
second I felt that OTT release has any lesser impact than
True.
theatrical, because the response I got for that film was equivalent to the theatrical big release that it would have happened.
Correct. That's
So, so that ways I have no complaints of OTT, but any further delay would have ended up, my films एक screen पे एक चल रही है, दूसरी screen पे दूसरी चल रही है, which I really don't want ever
don't
to
want.
happen. I want it to be spaced out enough for people to enjoy me in different films at different time.
Right.
Yeah.
One final question before we leave. Would you be able to tell us something about your upcoming projects, especially your home production that, I mean, your Blur? Have you
Blur,
decided on that? Uh,
that is gonna release next year after Shabash Mithu, hopefully, because that's how it's been planned. And
okay.
maybe in the middle of the next year, sometime maybe around that time. But I haven't really fixed upon it.
Right.
We'll figure a date out. But yeah, we are done with the shooting. It's in the editing stage right now. Yeah, I mean, when I haven't started feeling the jitters for it as yet. It's too far away right now. The
Yeah.
closer we get to it, I'll have these weird feelings, new feelings of being a producer when it
Yes.
releases.
We'll talk about that elaborately when we meet for Blur. Hopefully, we will. But before
Yeah, yeah,
that,
we will.
have you started working with Srijit Mukherjee? Like there was a director change
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah,
Shabash.
yeah, yeah.
What was it
Yeah, we are
like?
halfway through.
Okay.
We are halfway through the film. Shabash Mittu. We are halfway through. So yeah, it is very good, because he is so charged up. Like,
Hmm.
I think cricket is his love. So that really reflects with the way he directs this film, because he's just so passionate about the sport. So it's
Right.
almost like, you are in the right hands, but you are also scared of, not messing it up,
Sleeping.
because this man is going to, like, make sure it's perfect to the T.
He's merciless when it comes to being like criticizing. If you don't,
Yeah, 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 yeah. He is, and that's really good. I wouldn't settle with anything less, especially when it comes to cricket, because it is this country's religion, cricket, right? So I don't want to go wrong. I might as well go through the scrutiny through him, rather than
right,
going through it later when the film releases.
right, right. Okay, great. Thank you so much for talking to me, Tapsi. It was wonderful, and let's hope that we
My
meet
pleasure.
for every film. Like you have back-to-back releases,
Yeah.
so interviews होते
Yes.
रहे और बात करते रहे. Thank you so much.